You literally
That's right.
help them through. I would want to talk to someone like you. I mean, it would be different with you and I because you're my sister. And a lot of times when it comes to family, it's almost like it goes through one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not the information, but it's who it comes from. And I don't know why that is. But even with Joe, you know, I've had really deep conversations with Joe, and it was just like, shut up, you just trying to talk that doctor talk to me. When realistically, I should listen to
You
him.
know what he's talking about?
Right, and he does. He absolutely does. But because I'm his sister and I know where he comes from, and I don't. It's just something in me it doesn't click right away. But
Right.
I had to sometimes sit back, like, you know what, my brother was actually right. Let me call him back. Like, hold on. And he does it. And I used to feel like he would give me these lectures all the time, where really he was just trying to help me, and he's just teaching me what he's been taught. And I just wasn't trying to listen. So it's the same. I don't know if I can lay on the couch and tell you about my issues with fibroids, the depression I went to, because I literally cut everybody off. I was dating. I just distanced myself from everyone. So is that depression or mental health, or does that run in the same family?
Yeah, it's the same. So mental health is the umbrella. And then everybody's specific mental health issue has a different name. So it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be post-traumatic stress disorder. It might not even meet the criteria for a disorder, but you're just having symptoms. But I appreciate what you're saying, sis, because you're right. I am perfectly happy being your sister. I don't need to be your shrink. Although I'm happy with that. Like, I appreciate having that role, and you deserve to have somebody that's outside of the family that's a little bit more impartial, a little bit more objective, because like your point with Dr. Joe, with your brother, you knew Dr. Joe before Dr. Joe. You know, people knew Dr. Brandy before Brandy. So it's so
Right.
funny because even my family and my friends, I be trying to offer them stuff that people pay me a lot of money for. And they be like,
Right.
they be like, nah. I'm like, okay, I'm giving it to you for the free.
But I
So,
guess it's because, I don't know, I see you guys, when it comes to family, there's a different light I see you under. I
sure.
don't see you as someone I would, now I tell you a lot of my issues. We know that, my personal issues and things like that. But when it comes to something about depression and seeking professional help, I don't know why you and Joe would not have been the people I would go to, even though I know you're amazing at what you do. I know you have several different clients that come to you that's been going to you for a while. I get that. But you're my sister.
Right. And that's
So,
okay. That's okay, sis. Like, that's okay. You get your healing in whatever way you can. What my role can be as the sister is to help you get connected to the right person. And then
right.
you go to the right person. So yes, I would encourage people. And the other thing I would say, because your question was, who do you go to? Don't wait until you in crisis, people. When something is going on, even before you really feel it, get connected, because it's challenging getting connected to therapists right now. The demand is so high. Sometimes there's a 3-6 week wait. So don't wait till you're in crisis. If you're just like, I want to try it out, just try it out. You can always change.
I mean, the point of talking about mental health today is because I know, I would say it's a culture thing, but I was
Yeah.
raised to keep my menstruals quiet, hush hush on any level. So because fibroids is pertaining to my menstrual cycle, I didn't talk about it. So I'm trying to break that generational curse in our culture. I'm trying to break it in every culture, because
That's
the
good.
women, they just don't speak up and speak out when it comes to fibroids. Maybe it's because of they're embarrassed behind the accidents that happen with the menstrual. Just your menstrual cycle can come uh, last for 10, 20 days, leave for 2 days and come right back again. So that can affect the marriage, you know, your relationship. You know, I've known people that are still trying to conceive a child and been trying for years. I said this to Joe. They've been trying for years and they haven't been able to because of fibroids. That has to have an effect on your relationship when neither one of you have ever had kids. You know, so it's almost like, how do you be fair? How do you comfort your partner? But that would be hard for me to
Well,
talk to my partner. But
how do you comfort your partner when you don't even know what's really going on?
I was really clueless at one point when it came to fibroids. That's why I chose the surgery that I honestly didn't have to have. I could have went to USA Fibroid Centers and had a UFE, uterine fibroid embolization, but I was unaware of it. My doctor never mentioned it. And come to find out, now that I'm a little more educated when it comes to fibroids, the reason the doctors don't mention it as much is because it costs less money to do a UFE than it does to do a myomectomy or hysterectomy. So it's really based off money, the dollar. And it's horrible. I have a permanent scar. And if I ever was to conceive a child, I cannot conceive vaginally. I have to have a cesarean because I made that decision to have a myomectomy. But I didn't know all my options. And that caused depression. That caused issues with my mental health. I felt abnormal. I felt like I couldn't experience what other women, you know, experience when they conceive a child. I felt different. Like it made me distance myself again. I had to continuously talk, and I put myself around people, because I'm not the only ambassador for USA Fibroid Centers. There are several other beautiful, amazing women with amazing stories. And when I'm surrounded around them, I don't feel abnormal in that world. And I have to continue to talk about it, because before, when I would talk about it, sis, I would break down and cry.
I'm sure.
Oh my God, I can't conceive a child. Am I weird? Am I, you know, I started to, you know, think these crazy thoughts. But now I'm not weird. I'm not crazy. I'm not abnormal. This is my situation. These are my circumstances, and I know how to deal with it. I speak up and I speak out on it, so women don't end up in the situation that I'm in.
That's right. And someone in the chat is asking what UFE is, because to your point, people don't even know.
UFE it's abbreviation for uterine fibroid embolization. It's a non-surgical procedure that is done at USA Fibroid Centers. You can contact any of their locations. They have several around the U.S. Check out the website. But they can remove your fibroids without surgery. And that wasn't an option that was given to me. So that's what UFE is. Of course, you have to go through a list of procedures, and you have to make sure you're eligible to receive UFE, but that's something you talk to with the doctor at USA Fibroid Centers. But I would have been a great candidate to have it done. I just didn't know about it. So instead of going through a UFE, I had the myomectomy. The myomectomy is when they cut you in your abdomen. They pull out your uterus, cut the fibroids from your uterus, and place your uterus back in so you can conceive. A hysterectomy is when they take out your uterus completely and you will never be able to conceive. And they literally gave me that option, knowing I never had a child. I mean, and I still could have a child. So I'm like, why are you offering this to me? I just didn't understand. But those are the options that I wish I had back then. But it's okay. Everything happens for a reason, I feel. And, you know, if I had a UFE, who knows? I might not have been a spokesperson for USA Fibroid Centers. My story would not have reached as many women as it reached. I don't know. I just know this is a path that I'm on. This is the path God put me on, and I'm a soldier.
Yes, you're a soldier. That's right.
Yeah. But I'm glad you spoke with me about it. If someone wanted to contact you in regards to mental health, because that is what you do for a living. I mean, why don't you tell them what you do for a living before we leave?
I could do that. Yes. Thank you, sis. I am Dr. Brandy Pritchard Johnson. Everybody says Dr. Brandy. And I am a counseling psychologist. I specialize in women's issues. I also specialize in intergenerational trauma. Okay. The trauma that we kind of passed down from generation to generation, cultural, racial trauma, and a lot of interpersonal issues. So like relational issues. I also work with a lot of youth. And so the best way to find me really is Dr. Brandy on Instagram at Dr. Brandy PJ, or the DianeMorganGroup.com. And I have to say, because people are like, who is Diane and who is Diane Morgan? Because you're Dr. Brandy. The Diane Morgan Group is named after my mother, may she rest in peace, and my godmother, may she rest in peace, because I also work a lot with trauma as it relates to grief and loss. So the DianeMorganGroup.com. And it's spelled exactly how it sounds, DaineMorgan.
And where are you located?
I am in Detroit, Michigan, but I do therapeutic consultations and speaking anywhere. So I will hop a plane if I need to.
And you do Zooms, correct? Zoom.
And I do Zooms. I do what we call telehealth. Okay, so I will do Zooms with people. And so, sis, if you could share my information, I'm happy to chat with folks. But I do want to make one other quick point because you talked about the shame. And so congratulations to you for breaking the stigmatization of speaking out on women's health, especially women's health, women of color, because some of these challenges, some of these medical issues and mental health challenges really could be prevented if we just talk about it more. Shame breeds in secrecy.
Yes.
So,
I
good stuff.
totally agree with that. And you know what? I think the mental health process, as far as going through fibroids, that might end up on your list of clients, because I think that we've been able to reach so many different women that a lot of women have been speaking up and speaking out on fibroids. And I think they're ready to talk about their mental health issues. So you might get more people coming to you because of your sister to talk
Let's
about
go.
that, because it's not an
Let's
easy
do it.
conversation.
Let's do it. Let's do it. My husband, your brother, says all the time, get your healing.
Yes,
Hashtag healing. We deserve it.
I agree.
So kudos to you, sis.
Thank
Love
you. And thank you for
everybody.
talking to me. Let me say bye to my nephews. Bye, nephews. I love you.
Bye.
And
Bye.
shout out to USA Fibroid Centers. Thank you again for having me. This is the Speak Up and Speak Out live takeover with your girl, Shay Johnson. Until next time, everybody. See you later, and make sure you tell your story. I've been there. There's so many other women that's been there with you. You do not have to be ashamed of anything going on. And check out the website, usafibroidcenters.com. All right? Peace out.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye. All right.